Beautiful souls, and welcome to my channel, Roseology. So today's video is inspired by this Pisces new moon. So I'm going to start saying that these new and full moon videos are inspired by the new and full moons that are occurring, because I don't want you guys to think that you can only use this information for like a few days or a week, when there's so much information packed in these new and full moon videos. And that's why I go so deep into the energy surrounding these new and full moons, that the way you guys can utilize this information at any point in time of the year, at any point in time of your life, basically. So the information that I'm putting in this video is all about basically how we move forward, because it's kind of difficult sometimes to know how to progress forward, how to move forward after going through certain dilemmas and certain changes and challenges and transformations and things like that. And Pisces is all about ushering in a new age, basically. So we're going to be really unpacking the energy of this Pisces season. How do we heal? How do we move forward? How do we get used to this new normal for those of us that don't like change? So if you are interested in how to say goodbye, how to find peace and closure in saying goodbye, in letting something go, or in being let go, or in disappointments, or in things that ended that you didn't want to say goodbye to, then this video is made specifically for you. And if you are wondering how you can work with this energy, what Pisces energy even is, if you're just here for a little extra information on astrology and energy in general, then this video is also for you. Okay, so starting off first with Pisces. Who is Pisces? What is this energy? So I'm just looking at my notes here, but basically Pisces is relatability, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's the 12th sign of the zodiac. And so this is the final sign, the final stage, the final hoorah before being regenerated or rebirthed again and starting all over again in this cycle of recycling within the zodiac, within astrology, within energy, basically. So this is the final sign. And that means that if Pisces is the 12th sign, that means that it's been through all the other signs, right? So this is what makes Pisces relatable. This is what gives Pisces this sort of fluid characteristic, or fluid personality, I guess you could say. Mercury retrograde, my mind's drawing a blank for the exact word that I'm looking for here, but that's what makes Pisces so fluid, is the fact that they've been in everyone's shoes before. I can relate to you, so I can understand where you're coming from, and that's where empathy comes from. And this is what makes Pisces such an empathetic sign, a very empathic sign as well. So this is how Pisces is able to feel every other sign. And this is also what gives Pisces that feeling of wanting to save everyone, because when you can relate to someone, when you can relate to their pain, you almost want to save them, right? I want to help. I want to do whatever it is that I can to relieve you of this pain, because I can relate to that pain. You know, if I was in that same position, I would only hope and wish and pray that somebody would come and maybe help me, or lend a helping hand, or do whatever it is that they can do to help relieve me. So, you know, we sort of connect in that way. So this is what sort of gives Pisces that sacrificial vibe to them, because when we're moving into the age of Aquarius now, because these ages last for over 2,000 years, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly when we move into one age versus the other, or moving out of the other. So we're moving into the age of Aquarius. We do know that, we just don't know exactly when. But when you think back to the age of Pisces, which was 2,000 years ago, we had one of the biggest saviors, come to planet Earth, and this was Jesus Christ. Pisces energy is very much so about saving people, helping others, sacrificing in order to save someone else. Now, Pisces dreams of a better world, reality, and tomorrow. But the problem with dreams is that if you stay too long in them, this can start to really muddy the waters between realities being the subconscious versus the conscious and unconscious realms. But this is what Pisces is. Pisces is a realization of interconnectedness, complete interconnectedness, how everything is a reflection of itself, basically. And this is what Pisces understands. And this is the thing with Pisces, is that like once you see it, you can't unsee it. And this is where Pisces is. Like I said, this is the final sign. So this is like that final awakening where it's like, oh my God, like we're really just the same being. We're so connected to the point where I am looking at myself. I'm looking at a reflection of myself. And this is something that is like I said, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you know it, you can't unknow it. And this is the sort of weight that Pisces has to bear, is the fact that it's like, wow, it's not just me that has traveled this journey, but you have traveled this journey. And this is what makes this energy very, like I said, empathic and able to relate to everyone, because it knows that the journey that it's been on has been full of challenges, full of surprises, full of mishaps, full of disappointments, pain, hurt, sorrow, grief, happiness, bliss, serendipity, pleasure, sensuality, amazing, beautiful experiences mixed in with a lot of really bad, dark experiences. But at the same time, Pisces can relate to that, and Pisces can see that others have been in those positions before. And Pisces wants to help sort of not drag, but almost like pull people through that ordeal. Pisces really wants to pull people through ordeals, basically. Like, I've been there. Come on, we can get through this, basically. So this is a realization of total interconnectedness. And when I say like a true interconnectedness, I'm not just talking about race, gender, age, culture, human beings. I am talking about beings of all species. I'm talking about like aliens and other beings that we don't even know exist yet. Pisces realizes that all things are connected. These little boundaries and these little limitations that we set, and saying that, oh, this is you and this is me, that does not exist when we deal with the energy of Pisces, basically. So there's no boundaries in this place of Pisces, because Pisces realizes that, yes, we do have external differences, outer differences and extremities, but we're all going to die just the same. We were all born just the same. And Pisces takes it all the way back to the source, to where it's like, we're all going through the same shit. We're all walking the same journey with different things happening. It's like, Pisces realizes that a book is a book. No matter what is inside of that book, it's still a fucking book. I'm completely different from you, but we're both still going to die. We're both still going to live life. We're both still experiencing this reality. But at the end of the day, even though we're very different, we are still the same. So like I was saying, Pisces is the 12th sign. That means that Pisces is the ruler of the 12th house. And when we deal with the 12th house, we're dealing with the last house. This also marks the end of winter. So this is like sort of like the darkest before the dawn, basically. This is complete exhaustion and depletion before renewal and regeneration. This is before spring returns and life is seemingly restored to nature and animals and ourselves even. We even sort of have like a bit of a pep in our step when spring and summer rolls back around. For I know I do, especially me. I'm a spring baby. Now, Pisces is also a mutable sign. When we deal with mutable signs mark the end of a season, right? Mutable signs have the ability to shape shift, bend, and flow into a completely different phase. And this is because mutable energy helps us to say goodbye or close out one phase, that the way we can move into another one. And this is sort of the difference that we see here when we deal with the different modes, which would be cardinal, fixed, and mutable. So cardinal energy ignites some sort of passion or inspiration that makes us want to do it, makes us want to move, it makes us want to go, it makes us want to conquer, basically. Fixed energy help us to build or sustain momentum in order to bring that inspiration that we received from that cardinal energy into form. And mutable signs helps us to part ways, that the way we can welcome in or bring in new inspiration, basically. And this is because we are birthing machines for creation. We are the creative outlets of the universe, and Pisces helps connect us back to our creativity. Mutable energy helps us to connect back to creative energy, because it's all about, okay, well, we're phasing out of one thing into another thing. So this is about the dissolution of boundaries, basically. Moving on to the parents of Pisces. So this would be the planet Neptune and the planet Jupiter. They both co-rule the energy or the sign of Pisces. So Neptune, let's discuss Neptune, because I've talked about Jupiter quite a bit, especially when we had the new moon in Sagittarius in December of 2019, I believe. And that was when I really went into a lot of detail about the energy of Jupiter. So Neptune is that huge gas planet in our solar system that rules the unseen and invisible realms. Neptune also has one of the strongest gravitational pulls in our solar system, which is why it is so easy to get almost like drunk or intoxicated off of Neptune and Piscean sort of energy, basically. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So this is attraction but amplified to the max, to the point where it's almost spellbinding. Because like I was saying, this is a planet that rules the invisible, the unseen, the subconscious, unconscious realms. So Neptune really has a way of completely disorienting people. One reason that Neptune is so disorienting or intoxicating, or it's so easy to get lost in this, is because Neptune, like I said, it's a dissolver. It's almost like acid, where it just burns away anything that is tangible or physical or has some sort of form or structure. This is because Neptune encourages us to part away from logic and reason. Logic and reason is our structure. Neptune encourages us to part away from that in order for us to flow inside of this universal consciousness, basically, because there's no way to flow into universal consciousness with certain beliefs and restrictions and limitations. It's impossible. So you have to leave behind all your structures. You have to leave behind all your limitations. You have to leave behind everything it is that you sort of built up in a way where you're like, okay, this is the reality that I see. I don't see anything else but what is inside of this reality. When we're dealing with Neptune and Pisces and 12th house energy, it is all about melting away the reality that we have chosen to see. So this is unplugging from one reality, that the way we can plug into all realities that exist. This is also why I say a lot that Neptunian energy needs to be microdosed. Now, Neptune is sitting close, super duper close, like it is hugging my ascendant. It is in conjunction with my ascendant. It's been a very interesting life having Uranus sitting directly on top of my ascendant, Neptune hugging my ascendant, a generational planet, a huge generational planet in my first house. I'm a Capricorn rising, so Saturn's my chart ruler, and I also have my North Node in my first house. So yeah, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on with all these different sort of interesting energies, but Neptune is one that shaped a lot of my life as well, for sure. I mean, with it playing on my ascendant like that. So if you have any sort of big generational planet sitting close to your ascendant sign, sitting in your first house, so especially if you have Neptune sitting in your first house close to your ascendant sign, something like that, then you might be somebody that is very malleable, somebody that can flow and shapeshift and form into different things. You might not really like labels. I used to laugh at people as a kid that said that they hated labels, even though I've never liked labels myself, but now I'm totally one of those people. I especially don't like labels. I especially do not like people to box me into anything. And this is probably one reason why I don't like being called a healer or a tarot reader or this or that. I don't subscribe to any one particular religion or anything like that. It's just because I don't like to be boxed in. That is one thing where I've realized in my life has really held me back in a lot of ways, was me boxing my own self in, people trying to box me in. It kept me in this, I felt like I was in a prison. For some people it works. For me, it was horrendous. It was like, oh God, I hated it. And this is why I say that we should be microdosing Neptune's energy, because being too much in the flow means that you are completely ungrounded, and we are children of this 3D tangible physical realm. I know that in spirituality we sort of try to disconnect from that. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't agree with trying to disconnect from the place that we are inhabiting, from the place that we are a part of. I personally see that as counterproductive. So I believe that being children of this physical realm means that we do need to be grounded in some capacity, because if not, we can easily be pulled into this direction over here and that direction over there. You know the saying, like, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And it's like, we need to find a nice medium between standing and falling, so it makes sense in my brain. Too much of this Neptunian energy could lead to codependency, escapism, addiction, substance abuse, delusion, illusion, denial, wanting to escape from your own reality. This can be the more so shadow side of Neptunian energy. Too much Neptunian energy that we just don't know how to handle. Now, moving on to the astrological chart for this new moon. Now, we have the moon, sun, Mercury, and Neptune in the sign of Pisces. So this is total exposure. This is feeling vulnerable and emotionally transparent. This is a time where very many of us are not able to hide our deepest emotions and truths. With Mercury being in retrograde, let's just add that into the mix. This is a lot of us almost being unable to verbally express ourselves, to find the words to be able to express ourselves. Music, movies, art, songs, dancing, cooking, writing, drawing, creating. Those are some really great outlets and ways for us to express our feelings, because right now we may feel a little more inclined to want to express ourselves through some sort of artistic outlet or another sort of outlet where it doesn't necessarily involve words and a lot of logistics. Basically, we may be drawn to old nostalgic smells, foods, dreams, memories, pictures, ideas. And this is because we are really working through processing a lot of our past experiences, our life, maybe even past life work you're getting into, generational work, generational curses, things that have moved throughout our family lines that we have succumbed to at some point in time in our own life. And with us processing a lot of that heavy energy, a lot of the different journeys that we have walked, like I said, with Capricorn, we went through a very difficult ordeal, brutal ordeal dealing with our karma. And then we moved from Capricorn into the sign of Aquarius, who's very detached because he just went through something very, very brutal. Imagine going through something heavy or dark or traumatic. It's almost as if you need some time to even realize what you just went through. You know, it's like that stunned feeling. I describe Aquarius as like the star card in tarot, where she's just sort of like, what the hell just happened here? This is wild. It's almost like your brain has to catch up to what has happened. So that's where Aquarius is. He's sort of still like logically trying to sort of process it, so he hasn't even gotten to the emotional processing of what he just went through yet. When we move into Pisces, this water sign, this mutable water sign, we are moving into emotionally processing, mentally processing, spiritually processing. Neptune is a very, very, very spiritual planet. So for this Pisces new moon, you may find yourself doing a lot of comfort rituals where it's like you're watching your favorite movie, or you're watching a movie from your childhood, or you're listening to old music, or you're contacting people, especially kind of moving back into the past with this Mercury retrograde. You may find yourself having more comfort or finding more comfort in the things of the past, okay? But just make sure that you're not falling into anything where you're almost like romanticizing this person or this thing that kind of sent you off into a tailspin, because this can happen when we're in Pisces season, especially during Mercury retrograde. So now moving on to Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, the South Node, and Mars in the sign of Capricorn. We still have this crazy concentration of energy, or the stellium, in the sign of Capricorn. So this is what I call unrooting work. And basically we are being slowly detached, pulled apart, separated, or unrooted from the gravitational pull that we have been sucked into from our past, by our past. Now, the thing about the past is the past will always be one of the most tempting, seductive forces of energy that we ever come across, because this is a path we've already walked. We tend to lean towards comfort and conveniency because it feels stable, it feels secure. We just want security as a people, as a species, right? That is what survival is. It is this instinctive nature, this need to be secure, to be safe, to be stable. So this is us breaking what it is that we deem as survival, what it is that we deem as instinctive, what it is that we deem as comfort. We are breaking away from the thing that makes us feel comfortable, stable, secure. We are literally taking a leap of faith, dealing with this Pisces season and this Pisces new moon, dealing with Pisces energy, basically. So this is us breaking stubborn habits, dependencies, beliefs, commitments, and lifestyles, much like the Devil card in tarot, how those two individuals from the Lovers card and the Devil's card, they have no clue that they have chains around their neck. They're completely unaware of these chains. And this is what we are doing in this Pisces season, is we are breaking those unseen chains. We're completely shattering them so that the way we are completely free, not just socially free, not just mentally free, not just emotionally free, not just spiritually free, but free energetically, free of karma. Basically, the karmic things that we didn't even know was occurring in our lives, the things, the energy that we didn't even know was producing and conjuring up certain situations, experiences and things within our own life. This is us being freed from those unseen chains and unseen energy, basically. Now, moving on to Uranus in the sign of Taurus. This is us craving new trends, values, priorities, and attractions in the sign of Taurus. So Uranus in the sign of Taurus is literally shaping a new reality, because this is an earth sign. And when we deal with earth energy, when we deal with earth signs, we are dealing with manifestation, because earth is the final, or not earth, but physical form, which is represented by the earth. Physical form is the last and final stage of manifestation before things start to decompose, decay, and ultimately die. So when we are born into this life, into this incarnation, we are in the final stage of our own energetic, ethereal bodies, basically, of our own energy, of our own matter. Matter moves through a complete process before it materializes into something physical, into something tangible, like flesh, blood, bones, skin, right? So this physical body. Anytime we are dealing with earth energy, earth signs, anything like that, we are dealing with manifestation. We are dealing with energy being able to be funneled into something that's tangible, that we can hold, that we can grab, that we can grip onto. Our life is literally taking form. The physical, tangible things in our life are literally taking form. This is why you might be making moves, you might be selling things, you might be getting a new car, moving to a different environment, a different state, a different city, a different country. There's physical differences occurring in your life, your body, for instance, with the people that you're hanging around. This is all about shaping your physical environment, okay? Now, the really good thing about your physical environment being shaped with Uranus being in Taurus is Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus is all about the things that we're attracted to, our values, the things that make us feel of value, right? So this is us reconnecting our values with our own body. So this is all about what truly feels good to us, what stimulates our five senses, what makes us feel like really feel good. We're not doing this for anyone else. We're doing it for ourselves. Taurus is kind of a little self-centered in a way, because it's like they don't do anything to please other people. That's going to give me some form of pleasure, so I'm going to go on ahead and do that. That's Taurus's kind of main priority, is what feels good to me. But, this is all about what truly feels good to you and finding it easy to commit to that, because it's like, no, that makes me feel good. It's really easy to commit to something that you are benefiting from or getting some sort of like a pleasure out of, satisfaction out of, right? The interesting thing here, though, is Uranus is squaring with Saturn and Pluto. And I'm seeing this as Uranus is really fighting to revolutionize himself while he's in the sign of Taurus. But Saturn and Pluto are transforming in the other earth sign of Capricorn. And the thing with Uranus is like a tornado. You know how like after a really bad tornado, you can literally see the pathway or the trajectory that tornado traveled, because you can like literally see the path of destruction. Uranus is much like a tornado. He disrupts, and he disrupts through chaos, basically. But the thing is that it takes disruption, it takes chaos for us to be able to even envision or see or become aware of another direction, of another pathway, of another route. Uranus makes us realize that, wow, we don't have to travel this one road. A tornado doesn't go down a road. He doesn't travel on the highway. A tornado goes wherever the hell he wants to go, right? That is Uranus. And Uranus does this to show us, like, you guys, you don't have to go this way. We can go that way. Yeah, it's going to be destructive. Yeah, it's going to be chaotic. Yeah, it's going to disrupt a lot of things. It's going to cause a lot of turbulence, right? But at the end of the day, this is what we have to do in order to divert from where we were headed or where we were traveling. So he's all about divergence, and he does this by rebelling. So Uranus is trying to carve out a new path like that tornado through Taurus, and Saturn and Pluto are destroying things in the other earth sign of Capricorn. So while Uranus is trying to carve out this new path, it's almost like Saturn and Pluto are destroying things before Uranus even gets there. And this is because Saturn and Pluto, they want a completely clean slate. They want this town wiped clean. Saturn and Pluto are like an atomic bomb being dropped on a town. So Uranus is like, well, it's already destroyed. You know, this is already sort of broken down for me, and I'm still carving through this, but I'm carving through disruption with disruption. I'm carving through chaos with chaos. So Uranus squaring Saturn and Pluto, I'm almost kind of seeing them working together in a sense where it's like, this is just extra destruction, extra chaos, extra turbulence. So, you know, we really are seeing a lot of changes in our physical environment. This has to do with the world as well. We're going to start seeing we're probably going to be seeing for much of 2020, a lot of different changes happening on our earth and our planet, with different governments and societies, even in the corporate world as well. This is the tearing down of the way of life that humanity has known it, not just us, but humanity. So everything is feeling this change. Everything is visually seeing this change. And if you are sensitive enough, if you've really been working with spirituality and energy, you can feel this happening. So meanwhile, everybody else, when it hits, it's just gonna hit them, you know. And this is why I was saying in my 2020 video that, you guys, we have to learn how to stabilize ourselves, because basically the people that have not learned how to do this, they are going to be running to you for, hey, can you give me some comfort? Can you give me some stability? People are going to be, it's almost like that scene in the Titanic. They were screaming for their lives. This is literally what we are moving into now for the people that have learned how to stabilize themselves, for the people that have been doing the inner work, the internal work, working with themselves, working to find peace within themselves. You guys are going to be fine. It's not that it's not that the world won't be changing. The world's still going to be changing. You're going to be in the middle of that turbulence, but you're going to have your own peace. And I described it in that video with the story of Peter walking out to Jesus on the ocean. They were walking on the sea during a raging storm. And as long as Peter kept his gaze focused on Jesus, or whatever your target would be, he was fine. He didn't experience the wind and the waves like everyone else, even though they were happening. So this is what is going on. And that's why I said in that video, I'm not seeing 2020 as an easy year. I'm just not, you know. I'm seeing it from here on out. There's going to be a complete separation between the people that have found peace and know how to maintain it, and the people that haven't found peace, or they were codependent. They were depending on something or someone else to give them peace, to impart peace onto them. So this is going to be a complete split, like an earthquake between peoples, between beings who are like, I'm on this side because I'm peaceful. I know how to maintain my peace. I know how to find my peace. I know how to find my stability and how to sustain that. And for the other people that are just going to be running around not knowing how to find that comfort and that stability and that security. So there's going to be a lot of people probably calling you, running to you. Hey, what's going on? Hey, can you help me out with this? Hey, I'm going through this or that. Or, you know, it's just going to be a lot of people dealing with a lot of anxiety, dealing with a lot of stress, dealing with a lot of fear. And so they're going to be looking towards people like you for stability and comfort. And you have to be the one to decide when to cut that off. And that's what I'm seeing with 2020. I've been seeing that since December of 2019. How do I say this? Oh, this is going to sound so dark, but I was honestly seeing it as, there's going to be people running to you, right? And you're going to have to decide to close the door and say no. This is almost like people running up to a church for help and the church closing its doors because they're saying, I cannot help you. This is the split between people that cannot be helped because they don't want to help themselves. Anybody that does not want to help themselves, anybody that is looking for someone else to help them, they're not going to find any sort of comfort. They're not going to find help. They're going to find more suffering. They're going to find more confusion. they're going to find more turbulence. They're going to find more instability. The more that they try to search for stability, the more that they're going to find instability, because they're not looking within. They're not realizing that they are the only stable force that they need to rely and depend on. So I'm honestly seeing the universe almost turn its back from people that don't want to help themselves in this 2020 year. I didn't necessarily know how to say that before. That's the best way that I can say it, because I never want to put fear out there to anybody, but that's just honestly what I'm seeing. I'm honestly seeing energy, almost spirit, almost turn its back and say, you don't want to help yourself. Spirit, it never forces anything on us. That's why spirit gave us free will. I don't know why people think that God and spirit in the universe is like, I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to fall into order. I want to do my own thing. Like, I want to be chaotic. You can. That's up to us. You've been given that free will. I don't know why people think that God forces you to do anything, because I've never seen God just come down out of the sky and be like, do this or that's going to happen. That's never happened. I don't think any of us have ever seen that. But spirit is looking at it like that. Spirit is looking at it like that, where it's like, you know what you need to do, or you know what's best for you. You're choosing not to do it. And I'm literally seeing energy almost turn its back on people that just refuse to help themselves. And this is really going to come down, to a choice with us, where it's like, with people that have been working on themselves, where it's like, you know what? If you don't want to help yourself, I can't help you. This is like a person that has survived an addiction, right? And they're coming out of AA, or they're coming out of some sort of rehabilitation program, and their old friends, maybe their old friends come back around, and maybe they're seeking help or something like that. And a person that has come out of has survived an addiction or something, they have to decide for themselves, you know what? Like, I cannot allow you to pull me back down, because I found my stability. I found my peace. I have found my sanity. I have found my own comfort. I found my own security. You are not allowed to have not even 1 ounce of that, because you need to find it for yourself. And this is something that nature understands. Nature understands it all the time. They allow their kids to leave the nest. And hey, whatever happens to them, happens to them. But I've taught them everything it is that I know. So this isn't on me. This is on you. You have to figure out how to survive. And this is exactly what is happening right now. And this is why we're seeing people freaking the hell out about every little thing. And you guys, I have done, I received this request maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, somebody asking me if I could do a reading on the coronavirus, right? And just basically everything that's been happening in the world. And I definitely told you, like, yes, so that video is coming probably directly after this one. I literally just recently got the message for that video. It came to me, just downloaded straight to me like heavy, I want to say maybe about a week ago, but I ended up getting sick and I couldn't record that video. And this video needed to come out first because it is inspired by the Pisces new moon, but that video is definitely coming for you guys, for those of you that have been requesting it. The thing that I really don't like talking about though with this coronavirus, I'm not really going to get into it in this video. I'll get into it in that video, trust me, because the message that I received for that was wild. It blew my mind. But yeah, so the reason why I really don't like talking about these different like world events is because this is going to keep happening, and if I come up here shuffling cards for every new tragedy that happens, I'm going to be shuffling cards all day, every day, because this is what is happening. Stabilization is occurring. In order for stabilization to occur, destabilization has to happen. Turbulence, chaos has to happen. A lot that's happening right now is we'll get into it in that video. We will get into it in that video, okay? But I don't want you guys to worry. Do your research and take care of yourself as much as you can, but don't fall into any sort of fear. Do not relinquish your stability for what is happening in the world. I don't care if it's your family, your mother, your father, your child. You cannot lose your stability. You cannot lose the thing that brings you peace. Once you lose that, then everybody's freaking out. Everybody's freaking out then. So things are going to be drawn into your orbit because you are like that stable force. So you have your own gravitational pull, and people are going to be pulled into your orbit where it's like, you seem stable, you seem okay. How are you so at peace? Well, because I don't need to worry. We don't need to worry. What's going to happen is going to happen. This is kind of what is really happening with all this destruction going on in astrology. Our world is literally being reshaped. It's literally being reshaped from the inside out. Okay. And it's nothing to worry about. Moving on to Venus in the sign of Aries. Now, Venus, I wasn't seeing Venus. Everybody was talking about how Venus in Aries makes Venus like extra bold and fiery and feisty. I never saw that. Me personally, I never saw that with Venus. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm ruled by Venus. I am a Taurus. But I never got that feeling. I never saw that. I don't just like look at astrology and decipher what it's saying. It actually, this is going to sound so weird, but it speaks to me in a way where it's like I can feel its energy. And it speaks to everyone like that. You know, whether you can read astrology or not. It speaks to everyone in their own way, especially because you have your own energetic makeup, you have your own natal chart. So there's a lot of different factors, right? But I never saw Venus as bold and feisty and fiery in the sign of Aries just because she was in the sign of Aries. Now, with her squaring Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, now I am seeing her as assertive. Now she is asserting her will. Now she is saying, I am here. I don't care about you being destructive. I don't care about you being bigger than me. I don't care about you being further away from our sun than I am. Like, this is her saying now, like, yeah, I'm asserting my will. I'm asserting myself. So Venus, this is us being attracted to competition, to a challenge, to the fight. This is us sort of being stimulated from something like a fight, you know, where it's like, ooh, I've been waiting for this. It's almost like that in a sense. So this is kind of Venus being in the sign of Aries and squaring off with Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in Capricorn. Okay, this is us sort of almost having like a extreme pull between polarities. This is very almost bipolar behavior where it's like, because we're also in this Pisces season. So it's like Pisces is very empathetic. It's very relatable. It's very genuine. It's very healing. And then we have this destruction happening in Capricorn. And then we have Venus in Aries, who's very assertive. So this is like the ability to go from like being very gentle, very calming, very nurturing, very healing, very sweet to very assertive. So it's almost like aggressively pursuing healing. It's almost like us aggressively trying to lend a helping hand. It's almost like us asserting ourselves in a way where it's like if somebody comes to us and asks us for help while Venus is in the sign of Aries squaring with Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter, she's literally going to say to you, well, what are you doing? You want to lose weight. Why do you keep eating fast food? She's not going to come at you with like this gentle nature. She's going to come at you with like this truth of, well, what are you doing? Are you helping yourself or hurting yourself? Yeah, Venus in the sign of Aries she's very like, if you come to her asking her for help, if you come to her asking her for guidance, for her opinion, for her anything, if you are attracted or drawn into her because she rules attraction and chemistry, she's going to be looking at you up and down like, don't come to me crying, don't come to me complaining, don't come to me with any of that stuff. That's a waste of energy. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let's say, for instance, somebody comes to Venus and they're like, you know, I just really cannot stand my partner. Like, they just keep doing this, and this. Venus and Aries might say, well, then leave. She's not gonna coddle you. Not with what she is doing with Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter, with her kind of going head to head with them. This is her coming at you with the truth of the situation. This is like a competitor. Think about a trainer, right? Aries is very competitive energy. Think about like a drill sergeant, you know, where it's like, they're not going to coddle you. They're going to tell you exactly what it is that you need to do to get out of your situation or to make you better. They're just going to give it to you straight. So that's what Venus is doing. She's really giving it to people straight. She doesn't really have the time or the energy or the capacity to deal with people that want to be nurtured or held or comforted. She's not interested in comforting you right now. So there's a huge potential for very sort of changeable energy, malleable people. Because like I said, we're sort of dealing with like these polarizing sort of personality traits where it's like, I feel for you, but get your shit together. It's kind of like that in a sense. So this can also manifest in situations and relationships, things that we just cannot put our finger on. We just can't get a sort of like definitive, this is how you feel. Right. So just the basic interpretation of this energy, what is happening, what is going on here. So Neptune, she loves blending, but Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, she loves to blend, but don't get her twisted. She's not a chameleon. She's the environment that the chameleon changes or morphs or transforms into in order for him to survive. So it's really important not to fight Neptune energy because we won't win. So it's not like we can take on or take in Neptune's energy. Neptune consumes us. We don't consume her, which is why I say it's kind of important to microdose Neptune's energy. That the way you can have a bit more control over how much of this energy you're being exposed to. One thing to definitely know is that this Neptune Pisces very heavy energy, and especially with Mercury being retrograde, can lead to us finding a lot of difficulty or trouble come to a concrete firm decision on things. So if you are looking to find a concrete firm decision, like this is how I feel, or this is what I need, or this is what we're going to do, this is really not the season to be looking for that or to be trying to do that, because Neptune's going to sort of blur the lines. It's going to blur every line where it's like, well, I could also see why this maybe wouldn't be the best idea, just like I can see why this would be a great idea, so it's going to sort of put all these different perspectives right in front of your face, where it's almost like the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups, perfect tarot card to describe this energy, where it's like you're just looking at everything and you can almost like resonate with all these different things. You can almost find yourself, you can see yourself in all these different cups and all these different situations and perspectives and people. You can see all these different possibilities and opportunities and perspectives. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for us to really pinpoint what we're trying to do or what we want to do. It's a lot better right now to just sort of flow, to not really try to resist or fight too much of it. We also have the North Node still in the sign of Cancer, South Node in the sign of Capricorn. These North and South nodes will be here up until June of this year. Now, again, this is us individualizing ourselves from our past. We are completely reinventing ourselves, where our past our karma no longer has a hold on us. A lot of the times when we were manifesting, especially in 2019, a lot of people were talking about how they couldn't manifest. This was more than likely because of the fact that your karma still had a hold over you. So you weren't just manifesting from this clean, empty slate. You were manifesting from this house that had already been occupied by a lot of your past lives, your past decisions, your karma, your family's karma, generational karmas, generational energy, things like that. So you were manifesting from a long line of history. And that's why the things that we were manifesting, it's like, that wasn't what I asked for, or this never even came to pass, because it wasn't just you manifesting. It was like you combined with your history and your past also manifesting. And this is what Pisces is helping us to do. Like I said, Pisces is a final house. This is a final stage before we are regenerated, rebirthed, renewed, basically. So the ultimate cleansing of our past, of karma, of history, of energy, of all these different things. And if we allow ourselves to flow while in this Pisces season, what's going to end up happening is that energy, that karma that's been holding on to us, is going to completely flow right outside of our auras. It's going to completely flow right outside of our being. Pisces energy, it flows in like a stream of water because it is almost like a selenite wand. How selenite can literally pull or detach certain negative energies from your own aura, from your own ethereal body, from your own energy field. And this is what Pisces is doing. It is coming through and it is removing the past from us. It's removing the past. It's removing karma. It's removing generational issues. It's removing the history of you and of your energy. It's removing this footprint that you have walked so far. Right now, if you allow yourself to flow, these things are going to be naturally lifted from you. This is the beautiful thing about astrology and the planets, is they do a lot of the work. And the other half of that work is us either meeting these energies, these planets, these celestial bodies halfway, or doing nothing and allowing them to do their own thing. When we deal with Pisces, we are dealing with an energy that has walked the entire zodiac from our first breath in Aries to our last breath in Pisces. And now is the time to move into the next chapter, to finally close out that one book and move into the next phase. So if you have been waiting or hoping or wishing or praying, setting intentions for a new clean slate or a fresh start, then this is your prayers being answered, because this is the planets, the universe, and energy and spirit completely clearing out your vibrational footprint and starting over. If 2020 has just been really kind of throwing you for a loop, it's just been exhausting for you, then, look forward to this as like your fresh start. All right, so the crystals I'll be showing you guys go well with Pisces energy in general. So any time of the year that you want to tap into Pisces, Neptune, or 12th house energy, you can use these crystals to draw in that vibration. I have a video on how you can program objects and crystals that I will link in the description down below if you are interested. And the first crystal that I'm going to be talking about here is amethyst, which is good for spiritual protection and amplifying intuition. Bloodstone, which is good for purification, regaining or establishing personal power, as well as healing emotional wounds. Lapis lazuli, which helps reveal inner truths, helps you to speak your truth and brings confidence. Aquamarine, which helps release mental, physical, and spiritual blockages. Lepidolite, which is the stone of transition. It heals emotional wounds, heals stress, fights depression and negative energy. Labradorite, which is good for transformation, raises consciousness, and amplifies psychic abilities. Black tourmaline, which is a energetic purifier, cleanses auras and chakras, highly protective as well. Moving on to sodalite, which is very good for self-esteem, accepting the self, verbalizing feelings, and supporting the immune system. Moving on to fluorite, which is very good for concentration and confidence. Fluorite also neutralizes negativity and stress. And lastly, but definitely not least, rose quartz, which is deeply healing for the heart chakra, helps remove stuck energy in the heart center, heals emotional traumas, and encourages forgiveness. And lastly, the thing that I wanted to add in here is crystal grids. This is Metatron's cube, representing the flow or journey of energy throughout the universe and how everything is connected. I've had this in my cart for months, and it's funny how I just recently bought this because I was so drawn to it, couldn't get it out of my mind. And now I understand why, because Pisces, the season that we are currently in, is a sign of interconnectedness. Now, you can always print out crystal grid templates online for free if you don't have any, or you can also make your own. So I do that a lot as well. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. Allow your intuition and body to just sort of flow on its own, and it'll do its own thing. All right, you guys, now we're going to move into the meditation for this tarot spread. I'm sorry that this video is a little choppy, a little wonky. This tarot spread was really spur of the moment because I didn't plan to do a reading for this energy, and I ended up shuffling a few cards on camera anyway, so I'll let you all go on ahead and get to that meditation so we can start that reading right now. Let's just shuffle a couple of cards. You guys, literally the first two that popped out. The Justice and the High Priestess. Justice and the High Priestess card. And then I'm just going to shuffle one more. Because like I said, I really did not have the Knight of Swords in reverse is the one that came out. And I just kind of felt more so like I just wanted to sit down with you guys and just talk and see how you guys were doing. See how you guys were holding up, because it's been a rough couple months, right? And let me just get one more. All right, and then we have the Page of Cups, and the Two of Swords. Underneath the deck, we have the Eight of Cups in reverse. Yeah, for the High Priestess and the Justice card in reverse to be the first two that jumped out, I am blown away, because this is exactly what's happening, you guys. Justice is happening. There is a complete reinvention, revolutionizing of the world and life as we know it. But this is happening. This is being spearheaded by Spirit itself. This is why the High Priestess is here. And I literally just did a High Priestess reading, a message from your High Priestess. I posted it just last night, you guys. So this is wild to see her come up. And the Justice card with her is just, it's amazing, because what I'm seeing is just like This is the world being remade as we know it. So don't allow the news to scare you. There's a lot of justice that's occurring, not in terms of like the actual virus and stuff that's happening. That's not justice. I don't know what happened with that. Like I said, we'll get into that with this other video. And it's not going to look like justice. That's the thing. That's the thing here, is it is not going to look like justice. What's happening in the world is not going to look like justice because of the simple fact that disruption has to happen, destabilization has to happen for stabilization, chaos has to happen for order, disruption has to happen for stability. The things that are happening right now are going to stir or conjure up or inspire an entire generation and community, group of people to say, we're done with this. We're done with this. And that's what's happening. The thing is, though, is like, it's almost like being in a bad relationship, right? Where it's like, you might be able to overlook this thing and that thing and that thing and this thing. And then all of a sudden one day it's like, you know what? You left the toilet seat up. Yeah, I've forgiven you lying to me, betraying me, cheating, hurting me, whatever it is that you've done in our relationship, but you left the toilet seat up. And it's like, it could be that one thing that makes you snap and go, you know what? I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. That was just an example. But basically, that is kind of what's happening here. It's basically what I'm seeing in these cards. This justice is coming to us by means of a lot more chaos, a lot more destruction, a lot more instability. Because that is what has to happen for people to get enough motivation almost to say, no, this is not going to keep happening. This is not allowed to happen anymore. Now I'm going to exact my will. And it's crazy because that is literally the message that I received February 13th. I literally have it written down. I email a lot of the messages to myself. I could literally show you guys in my phone right now the message that I wrote down for that on February 13th. And then I ended up sick and couldn't film it. God, I was so annoyed. But anyways, it's coming out very soon. But this is a lot of the message. I'm seeing that message in these cards right here. I'm seeing that message in the astrological charts. I'm seeing that message in this year for all of 2020. This is us deciding to either, that, like I said, there's going to be a split in people. There's going to be some people that they just don't know what to do. They're going to be freaking out, running around, looking for their comfort and stability. And there's going to be other people that are like, I'm finding stability sitting right here, not doing anything. And some people are going to be searching around like this Knight of Swords in reverse. They're going to be running around. This Knight of Swords in reverse is saying there's going to be people running around looking for stability in all the wrong places, looking for comfort and security in all the wrong places. And all it's going to end up doing is making them realize, like, I'm looking for answers and I found more questions. I'm looking for comfort and I found more chaos. I'm looking for something and I cannot find it. That is what this Knight of Swords in reverse is saying. And that is literally what we are walking into with this 2020 year. Oh no, wait, hold on. And then I didn't even talk about the Page of Cups here. And the Page of Cups jumped out right after this Justice and High Priestess card here. And the Page of Cups for me, I think he jumped out right after them. I think. I don't know. Could be wrong about that. But what I'm seeing with this Page of Cups, because he is the split between the Justice and the High Priest and the Two of Swords and the Knight of Swords in reverse. The Page of Cups here is us all being in agreement saying, yes, we want stability. Yes, we want happiness. Yes, we want peace. Yes, we want justice. Yes, we want this new world. Yeah, we want to be living our best life. But there's a literal split between the people that have been doing their inner work and the ones that haven't. There is a literal split between the ones that say they want a better life, a new world, a better reality, and the ones that actually do. And that split is between the people that are running around looking for something that they just can't find, and those that are walking away, choosing to allow the world, the universe, and energy to do what it does. So there's a complete split right here. Like I was saying, that 2020 is going to do. Everybody can agree and say, yes, we want to live our best life, equality for all. But when has equality and justice ever been won by sitting down and talking? Usually wars bring peace. Usually death brings peace. Usually these things, these really harsh, brutal, traumatic ways are the ones that usher in peace. And it's ridiculous that people's lives and their safety have to be put at risk in order for us to see that maybe there is a better way. Maybe there is a better solution. It shouldn't even take that. And I feel like a lot of our generation is looking at this and saying, like, it doesn't need to take this anymore. Why do we need to charge? Why do we need to fight? Why do we need to hurt? Why do we need to be in pain? Why does any of that have to happen? Why does that? No, I refuse to accept that. I refuse to accept that. I refuse to accept that this is the only way that we can have change. Uranus and Taurus is moving through for the next 6 to 7 years, saying, no, that's not the only way. Uranus is that tornado that's carving out that path in the midst of destruction. It is destruction carving a pathway through more destruction. So this is us saying, like, that doesn't have to be the only way. No, I'm sick of that. We've seen enough history in the world to know what true peace means. We don't need more suffering to realize that suffering is bad. It's a slap in the face to your past, to your history, to not learn your lesson. And us saying that we need more destruction and more wars in order to usher in more peace, we need more animals to die, we need Mother Earth to suffer some more in order for us to learn our lesson and to start taking better care of her. Like, that is such a slap in the face to those that have passed on before us, to those that we have lost, to those that have fought the good fight. It's such a slap in the face because it's like, you needed all that to learn. What about my sacrifice? I made a sacrifice for you. Like Jesus in the age of Pisces, he made a sacrifice for humanity, right? In the story, in the good book, that's what it says. He made this sacrifice. And it's such a slap in the face that we still haven't learned that lesson, right? And this is how energy looks at it. It's like, okay, you want to keep moving in this direction. Well, you're going to have to reap whatever it is that you sow. It's up to you. It's all free will. It's all free will. We're not being forced here. We're not being controlled. Not by energy. Not by energy. There's other forces that be that are trying to assert their control and their will. But as far as energy and spirit goes, these are such loving energies that they're like, you do what you want to do. And whatever it is that you decide to do is what you're going to have to deal with. Okay, so let me just shuffle. That came out kind of fast. The first two cards that just popped out, I don't like to use two cards that jump out, but it says a new romantic cycle begins and a personal issue reaches resolution. Yeah, you guys, we're reaching resolutions. And this is full moon in Cancer, new moon in Libra. We're reaching resolutions, and people are coming into your life. For some of you, this is a new romantic cycle coming into your life. And then underneath the deck, it says bring love into the situation, new moon in Aquarius. Yeah, and when you love something, you don't see it as separate of yourself. You see it as like, that's something that I can relate to because I love it. I care about it. You know, that's something that is an extension of me. It's an extension of me when you love something. Oh, and that just, all right, flew out. And then we have here, believe in the impossible, blue moon. Adjustments are required, third quarter moon. Yeah. And then underneath the deck, we have expect powerful change, new moon eclipse. Yeah. So there's a lot of changes that's happening, especially with Pisces, Neptune. This is very feminine energy. So this is all about a lot of different changes happening, a lot of new things being created, a lot of old things phasing out, dying off, fading away. We have here Starseed, what lights you up. And underneath the deck, you guys, look at what's underneath the deck. Birthing a new age. Do you guys see that? Birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being, like I've been talking about with this Pisces energy that we're in. And this is also fitting with the message that I wrote down February 13th. It's wild. It's wild. I cannot wait for that video to come out, you guys. Your minds are just gonna be like, wow. It's so many synchronicities in the world. And then one last card here is we have Take Back Your Power. And it says, Archangel Raziel, use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. Like I was saying, we're finally manifesting now, because it's like, now we're truly manifesting, because that history, that karma is no longer attached to us. We're being separated. Pisces season is literally like peeling an orange, where we're slowly being peeled away from our past and our karma. We are no longer our past and our karma anymore. We're manifesting from us, from our own energy now, not from our parents and our grandparents and our ancestors and our past lives and other decisions and actions and choices that we've made. If you've been doing the internal work, you have redeemed yourself. You are working on redeeming yourself. That's all that energy cares about, is balancing out those scales. Didn't we have a new moon in Libra sign card here with the scales? It's all about balancing out the scales. In my last full moon video, the full moon in Leo that we just had in the Aquarius season, I talked about how I received a message from the Neptune Ma'at, the Egyptian goddess Ma'at, and how she was really trying to drive the point home, like, are you balancing your scales? Because if you're balancing your scales out, then you're finally you. You're finally you. If you're leaning too far to the right, now you're the right. If you're leaning too far to the left, now you're the left. If we're leaning too far back into the past, we're our past. If we're leaning too far into the future, we are our future. But if we are present still in the moment, then we are us. We're us. And that's when you are manifesting, really truly manifesting, instead of your past manifesting. And then we have here again, relationship harmony, Archangel Raguel, I think. We angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now. What was I just talking about? This is what our world is doing. It's cleansing itself in government, in policies, institutions, associations. It's cleansing itself. That's literally what's happening. We're in Pisces season. It's all about cleansing itself. Yeah, and then we have the card underneath the deck, and the final card that I'm going to show you guys is Spiritual Understanding, Archangel Raziel, not sure. It says, I am bringing you esoteric information and symbols and helping you understand spiritual truths. Wow. In other words, what this card is saying to me is like, it's all going to make sense. If you knew that this was supposed to be happening, would you be afraid? Would you be afraid? Just ask yourself that. So if you guys are feeling called to leave any sort of messages, questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, please leave them down in the description, or not in the description, but in the comment section down below. And so I pray that this video brought you guys some love, support, clarity, and strength. I want to take this time out to thank your beautiful guides, my beautiful guides, our higher self, amazing spirited self. Please stay safe. Please stay blessed. Know that you are loved. Know that you are safe. Know that everything is okay, no matter what. The main thing that I want you guys to take away from this video is just knowing that you are okay. You are the only peace that you need, no matter what's happening around you, okay? You guys stay safe, stay blessed. Please keep conquering the world, and I'll be back next time, all right? Bye, guys.